Alright, today we're going to be rebuilding the air dryer. This one right here happens to be on a gas compressor, but it's the same air dryer that's on most of your trucks running up and down the road. I'll save you the boring details of actually getting it pulled off of there, and we'll check back in here in just a second once we get it pulled, get ready to start pulling it apart. Alright, so like I said, this in here came off of a natural gas compressor, but it's the same air dryer that's on most of your trucks. I'll leave a part number to the air dryer in the description, and the reman filter and rebuild kit for it as well. This is the rebuild kit here. It's 109785X. Anyway, it's pretty simple. Just spring and some O-rings. Really, there's not a lot to it. So there's that. Let me get this extra air line pulled off of here. We're also going to change the filter element while we're at it. It's going to be a complete rebuild on it. The bolts that mount this, 9/16 bolt. .3/8 bolts, 9/16 head. So anyway, the actual filter element is a 107794X. That's the filter element itself. We'll get to that in a minute. Set it back here. So let's go ahead and get it opened up. And some of them are going to be cleaner, some of them are nasty. This one is pretty bad because it's on a compressor, dusty and out in the elements all the time. Trucks are probably about the same. For the record, this is the first total rebuild of one that I've done. So if somebody else sees something that I'm missing, doing wrong, whatever, throw it in the comments. That is, I'm going to take there's our filter element right here. Take that off here in just a second. All this is just an empty can. We'll set it down there out of the way. Pull this O-ring off. Discard that here in just a little bit. Now then, probably have to dig the filter wrench out in just a minute. I'll move the camera in a second. Once I get this thing locked in somehow. Snatch a hold of it a little bit. Alright, I'll move the camera so you can see it better, and we'll pull that filter element off. Alright, so I got you kind of a bird's eye view going on There, hopefully the camera doesn't move. If it does, you'll know it. So, get the old strap wrench out. We'll pull that, we'll replace that filter element. So, take your strap wrench. Filter element just spools off pretty much just like an oil filter. It's in here, pretty full of oil. So, compressor itself may have to be replaced before too long. Maybe starting to get wore out. So anyway, you saw the outside O-ring. There's also an O-ring just on the inside to seal it up. We don't care about this O-ring, so we just get it out of there. So anyway, there's that one. Now then, get our new one, open it up. Now this should come with the filter and the O-rings. Hopefully it does. If not, I didn't mess the other O-rings up too bad, so we'll be able to reuse them. There is our new filter, replacement filter there, and here's our oil. A little bit trash in a minute. Lots of oil in there. All right, so it even comes with some gel to be able to put on the O-rings, help them out a little bit. Set that there, put this on here in just a little bit, kind of warm up in the sun some. Open our little dielectric grease packet, O-ring lube, whatever you want to call it. That on there, and get it installed. It don't like it. A little bit more on there, maybe we can get it to stick. If not, we'll just have to be careful putting it on. Make sure it goes in there in place. Looks like we'll just have to be careful. Grab a rag. Alright. We'll take our new filter, start screwing it on. Make sure our O-ring stays where it needs to. Screw it on, it'll get in there and it'll seal up. Alright, you can actually see your O-ring all the way around. So as you tighten it up, you can make sure the O-ring stays in place. Alright, that's loosened. Wasn't super tight, but it was tight enough. Alright, so there that is. Now then, of course the phone's going to ring. It always rings. Raise this up. Knock it down. Anyway, so there that is. Now then we can put our O-ring on the top. Right here, put a little bit of gel on it. Ready to put the canister back on, or put the top can back on. Okay. So, now then, I'm gonna take this. It's not timed or anything, so you can just put it on. However, just got to make sure you don't go where the mounting bolts were. And the mounting bolts on this one were on the back here. So run the bolts in from the bottom. I've got neoprene nuts on them, so if we need to, we can reset them a little bit later. This right here just seals it up so that it's safe. If we need to relocate them, we will in a minute. Lock these guys in. That one's down. That one's down. It's down. All right. So we'll do the final tighten once everything is all installed. At least now we know that it's on there and our O-ring is safe. So anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off again, and then we'll start on the actual dryer part, or the valve part of it. All right, so I got you relocated again. I'm going to use a rag and some good old brake clean to try to clean some of this mess up. May take a minute. I want to video literally all of it, so and the part number on this, thank God for brake clean. The part number on the actual dryer valve itself is 109685X. That stuff takes paint and all off. And I am in a good, well ventilated area. So got a nice breeze, all that good fun. Scrape some of the dirt off of it. This is not a shop setting, so I don't have a lot of the shop stuff to be able to work with. But I'm assuming that most people that are actually happen to do this are not doing it in a shop either. So one good thing about the brake clean is it takes the paint and everything right off of it. And I'm changing all the seals too, so it doesn't matter if it hurts them. Alright, let me change this around. Try to get it up under there some. When you're having to do it out in the not shop environment, pretty much have to do with what you have. So make do. Alright, so we're close enough. Give it one more tiny rinse. Now then, the bolts that actually hold that valve in, I already checked, are 3/8 bolts, 3/8 head, so they're probably 1/4 inch actual bolts. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will probably tell me. I'm okay with that. Alright. Find its spot to rest right there. Now then, let's pull that valve out. Yeah, I'd say they're probably 1/4 inch bolts. I don't know if it'll focus in on it or not. You may want to pause the video and see. But anyway, that's the actual part number. Alright, so there. And then we can take, should be able to take a screwdriver or small pry bar. We just happen to have a screwdriver. Should be able to pry out just a little bit on it. There we go. So that's what our valve looks like. Pretty nasty up in here. Pretty nasty. So anyway, let me grab you and show you. So right here, there's the O-rings that are in our kit. You have to change those out. There's 2 O-rings in there, it looks like. So we'll pull those out here in just a second. Make sure you're back in a decent spot. Ah, there you go. So we'll wipe all of this down, because we'll be undoing that here in a little bit probably. Because there's another little O-ring in there we'll be having to deal with. And that's actually kind of a pain. Last time I opened one of these up, never actually done the rebuild, I've just kind of taken it apart to see how it works. Last time I took it apart, that was a pain to do. We'll see if we can do it any easier today. I actually had help last time. Don't have no help this time. So if I can't find me a little screwdriver, here we go. There that is. Grab the kit. All right. our kit. We've got spring, a couple of O-rings. These O-rings are the ones that are going to go in there. There's those two. These are the O-rings that go inside the valve. Little plastic washer. Another seal that's going to go on the inside, I'm sure. Spring, because this is spring loaded in here. And then another O-ring. This is the O-ring that goes here. And then some lube oil. So first off, cleanly first, clean out all of this old mess out of here. So the two O-rings just pop out. Make sure that we're good and clean in there. All the moisture. All right, so there that is. Now then, we're going to get our little screwdriver. This has got some, obviously it's not exactly a super clean environment, so we'll go ahead and give it a rinse. Good old brake clean. Alright, so now then, pop this O-ring off right here. There that one is. And then let's see if we have any of that assembly lube left from, there we go. We'll actually use some of this. Put our O-ring back on, and then we'll take our next O-ring, because they just sit down in there, there's no real groove. So we'll take our next O-ring, we'll slide it on here, and this may bite me a little bit later. I may have to fight with these O-rings again later, but we'll see. This O-ring goes just like that. Alright, there that is. Alright, so there that is, and that is. All of our O-rings are in place. Now then, this plastic washer is this guy. So the hard part is not getting that to come off, because that's just a 7/16. If I'm not mistaken, the hard part is going to be holding that still to get it to be able to come off. Was wrong. Not 7/16. Only 10 millimeter on the whole thing. That's a 10 millimeter. We may have to relocate to the vise, but we'll see. Alright, let's see if this comes through. See, look. It's turning. So that is going to be a problem. So what we're going to do, in order to solve this, I'm going to put my 10 millimeter socket in the vise, and then see if I can't, well, looks like them O-rings that I was thinking they're going to cause a problem are going to cause a problem. Take them out of the way. Now then, this will set here. Set it on the 10 millimeter itself. And then, let me get y'all relocated. All right, I got you another bird's eye view going on. So what I'm going to attempt is a cheat. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but we're going to try. So somebody else has probably got, you know, proper tools for this and everything, and they're like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Well, unfortunately, I do not have proper tools, so I'm gonna have to do it the way I can. That's going to be tighten. This should be loose in here. Come on, baby. There we go. All right. This is going to be real fun to put back together. Keep in mind, we know this thing is spring loaded. So let's see if I can maybe try something else. That is working, but see if I can try something else. These pliers will open up far enough for that. Yeah, they might. Alright. Yeah. So I got some, these are actually like for jewelry or whatever. That's what they're technically for. If I get them set in just the right spot. Working. Like I said, keep in mind this is spring loaded, so once you start getting to the end of that bolt, you gotta make sure it doesn't go nowhere. And hopefully y'all don't see it go flying. I'm sure they actually make a tool for this like they do everything else, but I don't have it. This is what I have. Getting pretty close, I think. All right, we're close enough we can do it with our fingers. Here we go. So this thing, the reason why I'm rebuilding it, it was leaking air really bad all the time. Okay, so here's our spring we established earlier. And now then we're going to look for damage on here, and I don't see any damage on this part. That's a good thing. We're going to not use brake clean on this, but we're going to clean it up, wipe it off as best we can, because we are replacing, man, that's dirty. Might be able to put some PB Blaster through it to kind of blow it out. Yeah. So there we go. Sometimes it's best to use a oil-based clean instead of that PB Black or that brake clean, because it dries everything out really bad. That's better. Gooder than new. Okay. Now then, we have our O-ring right here. Let's see if I can stab myself in the finger in the process. This is that square O-ring we have over there. Pull that off. That's good. That is nasty in there. We'll probably use brake clean on the inside of it. Maybe. Just take your new O-ring. It's square, so you got to make sure that it's not twisted or anything like that. I already got oil on my hands, so it works out. So this piece is ready to go back. Take the old O-ring off. Set it right there. Take the old spring off. We're going to put a new spring on it. That may be getting wore out. Whatever. Now then, this piece up here, and then I don't know if you can see in there or not, but it's pretty nasty. I'll just rinse it out with some PB. Rinse it out really good. Wipe it out best we can. Now then, gooder than new, right there. Make sure all of our O-ring surfaces are clean for them to go. Right, now then, we're done with that for a second. Set that there. Now, there's this guy. Yes. Is pretty nasty. Looks like we're gonna have to, it's so bad we're gonna have to unthread it out. It was just stuck from junk. Nasty stuff. It's all clean now. 10mm head. I don't know what that equates to in bolt size. Close to 1/4 inch. Five and a half, something like that. Off the top of my head. Anyway, so there that is. These two parts are getting replaced. And then the old vise ain't want to turn loose. There you go. So these two are getting replaced. Plastic washer down first, and then new rubber. Okay, now then let's get the socket again, get ready to go back. Set that there. Set them over. There that is. Put this back where it belongs, right there. Now we're all cleaned up in there still. Give it one more good cleaning. Still have a little bit of residual PB blaster. Not sponsored, by the way. You can if you'd like, but whatever. So there that is. Now then, this guy is going to go right there. And then this fine specimen, after we put the new spring in it. New spring. Right there. Let's see, make sure I got everything. We don't have any O-rings. We're good there. Good there. Just double checking, making sure we don't have any missing O-rings. And we don't. All right. Let's take and get this bad boy ready to. This is kind of a pain, just for the record. These little things. There. Like I said, I'm sure somebody's got the proper actual tool for this, but this is not exactly something that I have to do on the daily. And there's no way to set it in the vise so I can just clamp it down. So it is what it is. All right, so we are tight. Now then, I don't know if it will help or not. Nope, it just moves. So we're back 100% there. Fixing to put the new O-rings on here. This is tight with the pliers. Let's double check just to make 100%. The good thing about it being in there, it's inside of a lip, so I can actually make sure that we are good. Okay, so we're good there. Good there. Let's get our O-rings put back on. Okay, I'll get y'all relocated real quick. Alright, so I'll wipe this off here. Make sure it's all good and clean, good and new. And set our first O-ring on. Second O-ring on. Okay. And we're going to set it in here. And it is timed, so it does have to go back where it wants to go. Right, so we're good there. All the bolts line up. It's a good O-ring seal, I tell you what. So we'll put our, make sure we don't move nothing. things are doing their thing. It doesn't go in easy. But it didn't come out easy either, so it works out. So we're just going to ease it into place. Remember, they're only 1/4 inch bolts. They don't take a whole lot. I don't know what the exact torque spec is. I'd say about 10-15 pounds, if not much. So anyway, there you are. She's all rebuilt. All new O-rings on the inside. New dryer element, filter element on the inside of the canister. And she's ready for another long life of service till it wears out again. All right, we'll see how it works. Talk to y'all later.